Alright, this is a video on not my Leatherman Free T4, because there's a bunch of videos on that, but it's a great tool. I'll just say that. I've used every tool on here, but this is a video on the modifications I've clearly made to it. Black stonewashed titanium scales and a black titanium pocket clip. Now the black scales have these three gouges here that are slots for tritium vials that I'm not putting on mine because I like the look of how it just looks raw, and the scales though provide good comfort in the hand, and these are a bit thicker, especially this side, than the original stainless scales that I had on them, so it makes it easier to actually get your thumb in there to open the blade. Now when you buy the scales, I got them from a company called Horix Gear. A little burlap sack inside of a Ziploc bag. One pair of custom titanium scales for T4, black titanium stonewash finish. And it took, not that, it was pretty quick to get here. I'm using one hand to do all this, sorry. But when you take the bag out of the packaging, you get a little card, Horix Gear, Horix Gear, Instagram, Facebook, China. But you get them, oh come on, in a little vacuum sealed packaging. These are the original scales, obviously, but you can see what I was talking about a second ago, how thin this is as opposed to the titanium ones. The titanium ones are almost twice as thick, which make it easier and give it a little bit more depth, just like a regular pocket knife, to get your thumb in there to open the blade. So I'm really happy that I did this modification, but pay very close attention to all the pieces when you take this thing apart. If you have one and you're going to get these kind of scales, whether it's the black titanium, silver titanium, copper, or brass, they have all four different ones you can pick from. They're only $40, which I think is freaking awesome. $39.99. And the reason why I say pay attention, because these things have magnets in them, and it's literally a pain in the ass when you're taking them apart, because right between this blade and the handle scale is a tiny washer that's just a little bit thicker than the other washer, tiny washer, that goes on this side between the tensioner and the handle scale on this side. And I was so excited that my titanium scales came in that I wasn't paying attention when I was putting this thing back together, and put both washers in between the blade and the handle scale, and it threw everything off. I was able to put it all together still, but after I got it all together, I had a hard time getting the scissors out, where the awl and the Phillips driver would come out fine, but the scissors would be stuck, like jamming my thumb in there, and I couldn't get it to open, and I couldn't figure out why. And I had to go back and look at the reassembly video that I found on YouTube, which I highly recommend watching, very much so, because it showed me that I had put the two washers on one side by accident, so I'd take the whole thing apart and then put it back together correctly, and now everything's fine. But that being said, it is only 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're all T8 Torx screws. Then the pocket clip is the other modification I did, and that has this, what they call termites dark print on it, and there's two T6 screws. You can see right there, kind of off the shadows in the light, and that's made by a different company, and that company is Donk. What a name, right? Anyway, it comes in this little tin, which I think is pretty cool, but it gets cooler. The pocket clip uses two screws, and they're both T6. Now, if you buy one of these pocket clips to put on your T4, and you don't have a T6 driver, or you can't find yours, but you buy the pocket clip, right? Ta-da! They give you one, which I think is just super cool. And right down in there and that is the original. So you can see the Leatherman logo right there. But they give you the T6 driver that you need if the camera would focus, and I just think that's pretty cool. If you don't have a T6 driver or you don't know where yours is, they give you one, and it's a bit of a pain to get out. I mean, that's pretty cool. Packaging is nice. And this thing was only, for a titanium pocket clip and the tool and a little tin to come in, 17 bucks. Like 16.95 or whatever. But pretty sweet. Titanium pocket clip and a tool and a tin that you could probably repurpose for something else if you wanted to. All for 17 bucks. Titanium handle scales for only 40 bucks. Like, that's freaking cool. Yep. Oh, it's not supposed to do that, but you get the point. It's a lot easier to take out now because of the thicker handle scale, and it's a lot smoother. Better grip than the original handle scales. Like, these things were too smooth and too thin. These have a bit of grip to them along with that, but because of how thick they are, it feels better in the hand. It feels like a more substantial tool. All in all, great purchases all around. Aloha.